Good morning, friends, and welcome to the pre-market view. US markets were down about 1.5%, and we've seen the largest fall since April in US markets. This is basically on the back of mixed data points which are coming out from US, and also the concerns of the tapering of the bond buying program, which was indicated by the Fed that from June onwards they might be looking at this particular thing, but there is definitely a sense of uncertainty about this whole thing. And also the private sector job data that came out at about 1,40,000 were way below market expectations of about 1,60,000 odd. European markets too were weak, anywhere from 1 to almost about 2%, as we had weak data in terms of manufacturing PMI index as well as the Q1 GDP data that came out, wherein the Eurozone economy contracted by about 0.2%. Also importantly, today we have a meeting of both the Bank of England and the ECB, where the expectation is that the rates are going to be unchanged, but the overall growth outlook could be muted, and they might come up with a forecast which is below current market expectations. Also, when we look at the Asian markets today morning, Japan is up about 0.6%, as we had seen a sharp cut yesterday, so there is a bit of a rebound there, but rest of the Asian markets are down anywhere from 0.3 to about 0.7%. South Korean market are shut today. Also importantly, friends, we've seen the dollar index actually coming off to almost about 82.5, and most of the currencies like euro and yen are strengthening against the dollar. So currently yen stands at about 99.53 and the euro stands at about 1.30. But against this backdrop, when we look at the USD INR or the rupee, it has been continuously falling, and in this particular week we have seen the rupee actually losing almost about 4%, and currently it is at about 56.75, which is the lowest level that we have seen in the last almost about 7 to 8 months, which is definitely concerning from a FI's flows perspective. Talking about the flows, FIs were net buyers in the cash market to the tune of 88 crore. The domestic institutions were biased to the tune of about 100 crore, but in the index futures, we have seen FIs selling almost to the tune of 600 crore. So this is going to be the third consecutive day where we have seen increased selling by FIs in the index futures, and which is what is explained by the kind of weakness that we have seen in the index level and the broader market for the past 3 to 4 trading sessions. On that note, let me invite Shaiwal to take us through important F&O cues, data and strategies that we can have in the F&O markets.
Good morning, friends. Let's have a view at derivative. Friends, since expiry we have been seeing that either short positions have been squared off or long positions have been squared off in Nifty futures, and markets have been sliding slowly and steadily. Now due to this, we have seen that Nifty has slided to a mark of 5,900, but it hasn't closed below this level. Now, if I talk about the flows from the FIs front, we have seen that in in index futures there have been continuous sellers, whereas in index options there have been marginal buyers, which has been clearly indicating they have been managing their positions in the market. Now, the PCR ratio remains unchanged in this particular span of period, and talking about the implied volatility from past couple of sessions, we've been seeing that implied volatility is also been hovering in a narrow band. Now, the options metric has been suggesting that 5,800 and 5,900 put option not only stands with highest number of shares in the open interest on the put side, but has also seen a good activity in this fall. Whereas on the higher side, yesterday we have seen that 6,000 call option has seen some unwinding both in call as well as put option, but 6,100 and 6,200 call option has probably added some open interest. Now, what we maintain from our perspective is that if market manages to close below 5,900, then further downside probably up to 5,800, 5,850 can be seen, as this is the next strike which stands with highest number of shares in the open interest. And on the higher side, probably 6,000, which is the intermediate hurdle which we feel market would have. Overall, our bias for the market is negative, and from intraday perspective, one can go short on IOC with stop loss of 288 rupees 50 paisa. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, Reliance Industries has an AGM wherein Mukesh Ambani is going to be giving a broad overview on the plans of the company going forward, particularly with respect to the falling gas production, which has hit an all-time low. Market is keenly watching for the take on this particular development and how fast the company can recoup this production fall. Also, overall, what are going to be the growth forecast for the next 2 or 3 years is something that the market will be watching out for, given the fact that Reliance has underperformed the broader market for the past almost now 3 years, and the company has already completed its buyback program. Yesterday we had seen some uptick in the Reliance stock ahead of this AGM, but typically at the time of AGM we see a lot of volatility in the stock, so one could actually play on the negative side in today's market in Reliance Industries. There is going to be a meeting of the GOM on the fertilizer price hike, the urea price hike in particular, wherein there are indications that the fertilizer ministry may not oppose the price hike in the fertilizer. But since Mr. Montek Singh Ahluwalia was not present, this decision could not be taken. And the department would also consider the industry's demand to review the cost of the urea production and the basis on which the subsidy is paid to the manufacturers. So this is something that could keep the interest alive in some of the urea manufacturers like Chambal Fertilizers and few others like SPIC, etc. Mahindra is looking at launching the new compact hatchback called Varito Vibe, which is going to be the second car offering in a segment which is dominated by Maruti. Recently Honda launched Amaze in this particular category, and Desire of Maruti is extremely doing well, and this is going to be a new launch, so the competition in that segment is heating up. Also, Infinite Computer Solutions is looking at doing a buyback at a price of about 120 rupees per share. Current price is about 90 to 95 rupees of that stock. And HDIL, which is going through a lot of pain because of the high debt, is looking at selling their 70-acre land parcel in Kochi to mobilize funds to reduce the debt burden. Coming to the stock specific news, ONGC is looking at giving about 10 to 25% stake in its 4 CBM or coal bed methane to a Brisbane based company where it is looking at exploring at a cost of about 510 crores. So one can go long on ONGC with a stop loss of 319 and a target of about 335 to about 341. Fortis, which is India's largest hospital chain, is looking at selling its Vietnam and Hong Kong arms for about 380 to about $400 million, which would amount to about 2,100 crore. So one can go long on Fortis with a stop loss of 88 and a target of about 93 to about 95. Tata Motors is looking at launching the Baby Jaguar, which is basically an entry-level premium car. And this is going to be smaller, cheaper and more fuel efficient. We all know that JLR is doing extremely well in the global markets, and that's why we are seeing a lot of strength in the Tata Motors stock. So with this particular announcement, one can go long on Tata Motors with a stop loss of 301 and target of about 317 to about 322. And Cipla, some positive news is the Swedish pharma company Meda and Cipla have entered into some kind of a tie-up for an allergic drug, Dymista, and this is definitely positive for Cipla, so one can go long there with a stop loss of 371 and a target of about 391 to about 398. And Titan could react negatively as the India has increased the tax on the bullion imports to curb the record import of gold, wherein the duty has been hiked from 6 to 8%, and this is going to be effective immediately. So one can short Titan with a stop loss of 285 and a target of about 271 to about 264. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a great trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.